Justin, I'm just going to read you off some stats here and just let me know what initially comes to mind here. Just throw out some adjectives. 68 tackles, 44 solo tackles, 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, 11 QB hits, 6 pass breakups, 0 points allowed.
So all that's coming to mind so far is I wish we didn't hurt Tua because I would like to see what those numbers added up to if he stayed in the whole game. He looked so overwhelmed at the start of the game, and I don't want to say Jacoby Brissett really slowed us down because I mean Tua went out in the second series of the game, so a lot of that was on Brissett, but he was at least like making a guy miss and getting some throws out. When the game started and it was Tua, it looked like he had no idea what was coming at him, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. We're playing Mac Jones twice. We're playing Zach Wilson twice. We got Heineke next week. All these younger guys in the league, like that's where McDermott, Leslie Frazier really game plan up for these young quarterbacks and overwhelm them, and that makes me feel great going forward. Defense looked like it did 2 years ago. It looks like our investment in the defensive line is paying off, and boy, I couldn't be more jazzed about a stellar defense.
Yeah, so let's talk about that defensive line and this just dominant performance that Leslie Frazier kind of schemed up here. And Jerry Hughes was probably the low point of this entire defensive masterpiece, and that's saying something in my opinion, right? If your longtime veteran who's the star is just kind of like sitting back, relaxing, cool, and it doesn't even matter, that's great. And we were already talking about the spotlight player post game, who we thought impacted the game the most, and right off the bat, no hesitation, I said AJ Epinesa. This man had 9 QB pressures alone, which led to multiple sacks. Gave Justin Zimmer a sack, gave Gregory Rousseau one of his 2 sacks, and speaking of Gregory Rousseau, he had 2 sacks today on his way back home. So he was really hyped about that, and maybe he was playing a little more with an edge, and Mario looked great in a rotational role with not as many snaps as he took last year, and this defensive line is starting to look like it's actually benefiting from this rotation and what Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane envisioned last year.
Everything you just said, and then the crazy thing to me too is we double dipped on defensive ends in the draft this year, and we haven't even seen Basham yet. And I feel like he's kind of getting the Epinesa treatment of last year of we want you to be ready for when you're ready. You're not learning on the job. We got guys ahead of you. And you start looking at Jerry Hughes isn't getting any younger. Mario Addison's up there. These are guys that are commanding higher contracts that you can probably let go after this season if these guys keep looking like this. And then just imagine that Basham next year evolves into anything of what Epinesa looks like through 2 games. And that defensive front that you have, especially when you factor in that these guys can play inside, outside, boy, would I not want to be a team on 3rd and 12 staring at Rousseau, Epinesa, Basham. Sheesh. Throw Ed Oliver in there.
Yeah, and Ed Oliver, man, I'm telling you, I said that he was gonna break out this year, and so far it's looking like I'm right. He's doing real good.